Okay, now this is probably to a degree very old technology within the industry.
I need the other Bessie too.
And what we're going to do, we used to make these blocks out of solid surface a long time ago. Now we have them made out of nylon. The benefit to the nylon is that the nylon, the adhesive doesn't stick, the hot melt doesn't stick to it or bond as well, although it will bond as much as we need it to.
And those will be about 6 inches apart, Ken.
Correct.
6 inches apart, Ken.
Right there. And that's
No,
6 inches?
6 inches apart, Ken. Like this, 6 inches apart. There you go, just like that.
Wow, isn't that a lot of
You've
pressure?
never used these before, have you?
No, I have not.
All right, come on, let's real quick glue these on because we're going to run out of time. These have a little angle on them to help hold the Danny clamp as well.
It's always a pleasure to watch a professional at work.
Absolutely. It's certainly not me because all I've learned is by osmosis.
I'm going to use Der Platten spanner here. While John is doing that, I'm going to go ahead and start to set up my Bessie clamps. You can see what he has to do to set his up. These are manufactured by Bessie. Tom left these with us last week, and these are really slick. You know, there's actually a story behind this. On a jet flight one time, a Bessie engineer happened to be sitting next to a person from DuPont, and a discussion started about seaming, and that's how these clamps were born. So these clamps were actually designed for the purpose of pulling solid surface joints.
That's what we've been told.
And the reason why they work so well, this will self-level the sheets. You can see right here the notch. The joint would travel right between here, and by raising by cam action, in essence,
right,
putting pressure, you can level it out.
It's rounded on the bottom, so you lay it out this way to start, and then you flip it up.
And you roll them up.
Right.
And as you turn this, if you put too much pressure, it has a clutch system inside which allows it to slip.
That's
so
correct.
You can't overpressure the joint.
Right.
Okay, we only have a few minutes left. So what we'll do here is to get these to go down, it's quite simple. You just you lock those over like that. We'll do the same thing here. Get these in position, slide them down this way. There we go. And once we have those in position, we'll just take this, lock it, and lock it. And
these are nice for field joints where you don't have power.
Yeah, it's great. And you can see I can begin to tighten it right up. And you can see when I over-tighten it, they slip.
Okay.
So you can see I can tighten them right up. And when I get too much pressure, the disc slides just slightly.
And these will actually...
And by taking and raising and lowering these, I can take...
Actually, you flip those right up into place and they snap straight.
Yep. And it locks.
And that's perfectly flat on top. I mean, that's really simple.
Yeah, and you can see, I mean, the clamps are really strong.
Right.
It's just kept it nice and straight and clean. Now, these are Danny's, his hoops are great.
Right.
Once again, this technology here has been around as long as I can think of pulling seams. The difference here is instead of using spring clamps, which a lot of guys are used to, they generally would have little pads like this with notches in them and just put the clamps in them and let them pull it up. The difference is they would have those maybe within about a ½ inch to the seam, which is getting them really close, so it's hard to work on a joint to level it out or anything like that. The great thing about Danny's is you've got this greater width from the joint, which makes it easy to get in. You can clean it up, or if you need to level it in some way, you can get at it that way. And once again, Danny's, his clamps are so simple, they require no electricity, nothing to support them. They just do the job. So, great tool, a great simple tool.
Okay.
And then John's got here...
This is probably our most popular seaming setup there is. This is the Beaver Easy Seam, and we showed it to you a little bit earlier with the straight edges in use. But what they've done is they've combined the Danny clamps with the vacuum pods. And what these do is they're a self-leveling block, but different than anything else on the market. The way that these are designed to be used is you have your joint open to begin with, you put your seam adhesive in the joint, and then you actually push your seam together to get your squeeze out first. Open the pods, get your vacuum.
You closed them. You had them open.
No, these are closed.
Okay, there you go.
I know how to use this.
I don't.
And then you take two Danny clamps, put them right on there like that, And what this does is this maintains the pressure on the joint. So it's not drawing the seam together, so there's no possibility that you're going to over tighten this joint at all. Also, what's cool about these is the round design of these tends to make these
grip really
less likely to slip. And that's about it. These are available in a vacuum pod set. Oh, another thing, on a 25-inch seam, you only need 2 of these clamps to do the seam. All right, so we'll take that off, and these will probably just release in a second.
Now, these also level the seam out, too,
These
right?
level the seam at the same time. There, we just lost our vacuum there. They level the seam. You draw it together manually, get your squeeze out, they level it, and this maintains the proper pressure on the joint so that you're left with about 2 mils of adhesive in the joint. Very important. So this is a nice unit. All right. One last thing, if you want to take this down, a lot of our guys ask if we have anything for stone. And actually we do. Now I don't have any stone to show you, but these are the Abaco ratchet seam setter. Okay, you would use 2 of these, and simply we start out with this open. Okay, so as you tighten this down, you're going to draw a vacuum on the joint. Okay. Now, what's nice about this?
The middle of the cup up, right?
Right. What's nice about this is that, and I probably got these too far. Well, we can draw it. So you would put your adhesive in here and draw this vacuum down. And what's nice about this, being a ratchet like this, you can draw full sheets together without a problem. Okay. And then you can use this leveling foot to level the joint, right over the joint. Just push that down to level it, put 2 on it, bam, you're done.
Could you use this with solid surface?
You probably could, but I don't know.
You have to be really careful about overpressuring it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think this is really, it's over-designed. It's designed for stone, and that's what I would limit it to. But you can easily pull the joint together. You can level it. It's simple. They're relatively inexpensive. And they require no air, no electric, nothing. All right?
Fascinating.